Hello. So today I wanted to talk about. My name's Chris, by the way. I want to talk about how to handle divorce the best way. And I've never heard of this strategy before. I kind of came up with it on my own. I think nobody told me about this. Nobody told me how to do this way. Just a little background. I was married for about 15. I was with the same woman for about 15 years. Got together with her when I was about 19. She was 29, 10 years older. Yeah, this is a long time ago. Nobody told me the dangers of that type of thing, type of arrangement, and how much more social skill and awareness a 10 years span would give on a woman. But anyway, so I was with this woman for, we'll call her Joey. We'll call her Joey. I was with her for about 9 years as a boyfriend girlfriend. We lived together, paid bills together, split everything 50-50, etc. And after about 9 years, I got baby rabies. I wanted to have a kid. So I asked her to marry me. And within a few months, she was pregnant and had a kid. But that lasted about 5 years. And I had no signs of trouble. She didn't have to work. She was everything paid for. We had au pairs. I had a software company at the time. I was doing super well. We had maids. She didn't have to do anything. She worked, she basically did like accounting stuff for the business, but barely. Barely. Uh, and she did was we lived in San Francisco at the time when we had the kid, and then when we moved to Austin, she I don't know, things got changed. We didn't have a big friend group. We were still rebuilding the social circle. Not that we had a big friend group anyway. Um, but anyway, so she got together with this single mom in the neighborhood, and I was working super hard, and I just didn't see. There was no sign. She wasn't really very talkative person, but there was no signs of this. So anyway, just one day, and a holiday in over Christmas, she had her family in. And they surrounded me, and she just says, "I'm not happy," and that was the first I'd really known that there was any kind of problems. And so I really didn't know how to handle this stuff, and the men weren't really giving any of this stuff. So this was one of the things that totally red pilled me, like got me like started on like trying to figure out this whole dynamic between men and female, male and female, and the whole system that was set up. But I discovered all this stuff the hard way. So we went to couples counseling for a little while. Um, and it was just really clear that there was nothing going to happen with reconciliation on my part. I was totally willing to keep going, and I was actually, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was we're making a family. It wasn't supposed to be fireworks and sunshine. We had, I thought we had already kind of done all that, but that doesn't matter these days. Just the way the laws are set up, all she has to say is I'm not happy, and it's over. So I kind of knew that innately. I didn't really know specifically, but I still love this person, and I didn't want to hurt her and be or my son, my young five-year old son. So I really had a little bit of time to think about what to do, and she was mostly level-headed person. I put her through college. I paid for a degree. And she got a semi-engineering management information systems degree. So she definitely had the skill set to be helping in my tech company. But she decided to not do that. So for whatever reason, and it kind of, I'm picking up clues as I go of what actually was going through her mind. And anyway, so the way I handled the divorce was I was like, hey, look, I know this isn't gonna, we're not gonna situate. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hate you people. I actually I love you good people. So could we do this without lawyers? And it's like, and instead of giving half of the money, because if we go this route, I'm going fully this route. I told her this. I'm going to go fully this route. We could give half the money to some lawyers that we don't know, so their families will be given money, or we can just figure it out, do the 50-50 split ourselves, and let's try and just do that, and we can just avoid the lawyer thing. We're going to split up anyway. Let's just do the fair thing. I'll give you the half. And amazingly enough, she actually just listened. She's like, "Why do you want to give half to lawyers that you don't even know?" I was like, "I." That's how I convinced her. I was like, "Holy shit, we're about to lose. I'm about to lose like 75% of my income or my wealth." Um, so amazingly enough, she actually went for that. So guys, if you can be amicable with your soon to be ex-wife and let her know that it's probably in her best interest to like, hey, we can work this out together, and I'll do the child support payments. And in my case, I was very lucky that I had a tech company that I was kind of over with. I was kind of done with doing a tech business. I'd been doing it for 7 years at that point, and I was kind of burnt. I was burnt out, so I wasn't a big deal. But she was trying to do this thing where she wanted me to keep doing the tech company, and she wanted me to do a new products, give her half the profit. So you know, and she would have to look at the accounting and all that stuff. And I was like, man, that doesn't. Does that sound fair? Like if the situation was reversed, like you were had to do the software and you had to write it and you had to like come up with this new stuff and and then share half the profits. So you think that's fair? And she's like, yeah, I do. I think that's fair. And we got a mediator to do some of this stuff. So I was my that was my compromise, is that we would get a mediator that we both agreed on, that we both trusted, and that helped with some of this, like, hey, are you sure, kind of stuff. And this mediator we did find did have both. He kind of knew us both before and had both of our interests in mind. I believe, and that's also very rare. So I'm kind of lucky in a lot of regards. Anyway, so she tried to push that, and I was like, no, I don't. So I was like, if the situation was flipped, you think that's fair? And she goes, yeah. So I actually got her to flip it, and for 5 years, she wrote me like 3 years, I think. She wrote me a small check before she sold the company. I have no idea. And the thing about this was, I also was like, well, if that we could do this, she wants like, I want to prepay child support for the next 18 years or 13 years, whatever it was at that point. I was like, okay, I'll just take it out of that check. It's like, okay. So I prepaid. I have no, actually, she never gave me an accounting of how much money I was making. She sent me some checks for about a couple years. Um, and then she told me she sold the company. She never told me how much she sold it for. And I never fought them. And this is my son. He went to private school, and she was able to live this very soft life. I went to a 1-bedroom apartment, um, but I also I got a little bit of a cash, so I like lived minimally for about, I'd say, 8 or 9 years. I just lived this very minimal, basic lifestyle. I dated a lot. I had a lot of fun with girls, but I took money out of it completely and made it very clear that I would not be financing anything. I wouldn't be paying for anything. And amazingly enough, like, you get creative when you don't rely on money anymore. Like, I learned the hard way leading with money with my first marriage. And yeah, so I just want to put it out there. Like, you can somewhat reason with women, because it is business for them. This is something they calculate early on. I found out. So if you can convince them that they'll make more money by being reasonable, that is a tactic. But if I was being nasty or mean or being cruel from the beginning, that would have never occurred. So I was able to make my ex-wife not totally hate me, but also be a little like, okay, you got your way, but did she really get her way? Because I took time off. Like, I was working 70, 80 weeks for like many years on end, and I took time off. I went and I got my body straight. I was like, I'm overweight right now, but I was seriously overweight. I was like 325 pounds, like that. I started doing yoga. I just I became a yoga instructor. I became a Thai yoga, which is like this whole other thing, which I'll talk about that in another video, about how to quit drinking. Because I went through a spell, like, after went through a divorce. I became an alcoholic, and I had to go through that whole thing and got rid of, actually, but I'm 10 years sober. So, like, or 11 years sober now, coming April, 11 years. So we'll talk about how that all went down. But yeah, so it's possible to have an amicable divorce. You're going to lose half your money, but if you play your cards right and live a minimalist lifestyle, like Aaron Clary talks about, you can actually do well after divorce, but you have to get your mind straight about what women want and what they see you as. So anyway, so I just wanted to do a quick little video about that. And yeah, I appreciate you listening. Thank you.